All right, I got an interesting fight, but remember, this is one of those fights where I'm taking it back in time. So that character is as powerful as they were at that point in time, not their strongest form, all right? I'm having an Ulqiuorra fight against Kenpachi during the Hueco Mundo arc. So during that arc, Kenpachi didn't have any Shikai, Bankai, none of the shit he has right now. Um, and then also suppressing himself still, right? In this fight, I think it, might not be good for him. All right, he's my favorite character, but I think in this fight it won't be good for him. So when it comes to strength, it's interesting because in base form, Ukiura in base form, I do think Kenpachi has him, but then when he goes to his higher states, it quickly goes to Ukiura. You know, striking power and lifting power go to him. Speed definitely goes to Ulqiuorra. He was like Ichigo's faster than Kenpachi, y'all. And oh my god, Ichigo. That's one of the best fights in all anime. Ichigo versus Ulqiuorra, right? Um, but yeah, man, I don't think so. I don't think Kenpachi has the speed to fucking make it up. Definitely, as soon as he transforms into his first state, the speed goes to Ulqiuorra. Durability starts going to Ulqiuorra too. I'd say by the time he transforms into his first state. Ulqiuorra in his base form, he's powerful, but I think people might give him too much glaze. Um, you could probably damage him a little bit, you know. But he also has certain, abilities, built in um, that make him, even more powerful, right? Um, Endurance, I have to give it to Ulqiuorra, and this man, Kenpachi, loves to fight. But by the time he gets going, Ulqiuorra gets going, he's like, you know, it, whereas Kenpachi's multiplying his energy, he's growing exponentially. So he's definitely taking off on him, man. Um, and then endurance wise, it won't matter because of that, right? The power gap just, it widens. Intelligence goes to Ulqiuorra. Um, he'll find out like at the beginning of the fight, he'll be like, okay, this man's, not a hollow, and he's not your typical soul reaper. This man's some kind of monster. I might not have to, um, I might have to show him what the fuck I can do. Like he did to Ichigo, right? um, Experience wise, Kenpachi, you know, from what I understand, this hollow is not old. He's young. So Kenpachi has the edge there, and in close skills too. Kenpachi ain't afraid to run up on this guy and cut his fucking arms off, cut through this guy. Now, catching him is gonna be a fucking issue, but Kenpachi at the beginning of the fight he'll be able to catch him, and he'll get most of his attacks off at the beginning. Range skills go to Ulqiuorra, especially once he gets to his second state, right? His second, transformation, Segunda Etapa, right? In that form, he's shooting off those, Lanza de Lapidos, whatever they're called, and he's shooting those off. Those things are powerful. He cannot take those. Um, Recovery going to Ulqiuorra, that's one of the things he was known for in base form and basically in all his other forms too. He has the best recovery of all the Espada. He's known for his recovery speed, his healing factor built in. Kenpachi has none of that. Hacks go to Ulqiuorra. Like I said, Kenpachi at this point in time has no Shikai or Bankai, and he's, suppressing himself, subconsciously he's like suppressing himself because he wants a long fight. In this fight, that shit will get out of hand because Ulqiuorra is not like Noritora, and he almost lost to Noritora because of, that, right? Having that kind of mindset going into it. I want to have a fun fight. I want it to last as long as possible. I want to be entertained. Coming into this fight like that, nah, man, that's, a death sentence. Um, Ulqiuorra has those two transformations, two resurrection transformations. He claimed that Aizen didn't know about that, and Aizen knowing about it, he probably didn't know about it, but he probably knew that he had the potential to reach that. That's what I think when it comes to that. Um, he has that, and then Kibachi only has his sword, and he's swinging like a madman, trying to fuck this guy up. Too fast, too strong, too durable. Got better recovery. Even when you do fuck him up, he just recovers from it. You know, Environment goes to Ulqiuorra because he's from, Hueco, Mundo. He knows how that place is. Um, yeah, man. This shit's going to Ulqiuorra mid diff. And I was trying to give Kenpachi high difficulty because I like him and shit too. I really do. And, he'll try to get serious, but when I tell you that he gets a multiplier and then Ulqiuorra gets an exponential growth, I'm not fucking playing games. That Kenpachi is not as powerful. And then look no further than knowing that Ichigo is, I'd say, Ichigo with the hollow mask, before he fought Ulqiuorra the second time, even during that fight, right? Before his mask changed, he was on Kenpachi's level, and Kenpachi could probably push him to extreme diff. But you saw how he handled Ichigo. Now, I keep mentalities in the way these guys think, too. Kenpachi ain't going to go down, that easily. Right? He loves to fight more than Ichigo. And we know this, man. Don't even try to fucking play games and say, oh, Ichigo likes that shit more. He don't. He does it because it's necessary, not because he just loves doing that shit. He wakes up, Kenpachi wakes up and he's looking for that shit. Ichigo's not necessarily doing that at all, man. He ain't doing that. But it don't matter because Ulqiuorra is just, at this point in time, is more powerful. Now, if I'm talking about the 1,000-year blood war, that's a different story. The man has way more, way more spiritual pressure at that point in time, and he has a Shikai and a Bankai. So, and you might be able to say, he said if he hit his organs, you can actually, because he does have those weak points, but hitting those points are not easy because he's also very fast. So, yeah, man. Mid difficulty, Ulqiuorra is winning this fight. But I'll make another video, I think, later.